Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Mess. So today I got a fun and very exciting episode for you guys this evening because we are playing the recompiled version of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Mr-Wiseguy just recently released on GitHub a new way to recompile Nintendo 64 games for new target hardware, that being PC. And if you can't tell already, this is a better looking, higher resolution, more modern version of Majora's Mask, but it is using the Nintendo 64 file set which you need to provide yourself. Now this isn't a decompilation project, it's a recompilation project, so it's basically taking the original source material and recompiling it in real time for a new target, in that instance again being my PC. This is exactly the same game as Majora's Mask on Nintendo 64, but obviously it looks so much more modern. It has full widescreen support, it has high frame rate support, it has every modern creature comfort you would want in a remake of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, even though this isn't even technically a remake. And to say this is an impressive result from this project would be an understatement. This is absolutely wild to see. It's the game that you remember in a completely different view, and that is just so much fun. As we get into the game here, obviously the first two takeaways are going to be the native widescreen support as well as a much higher frame rate. This supports different frame rates. I'm doing this at 60 frames per second now, but you can basically lock the frame rate refresh to your monitor's refresh as well if you would like. And as we get into the game and just start moving around, not only is this an amazingly good looking version of Majora's Mask, the fluidity and sense of motion is just so much better than you get on Nintendo 64. And that is not to knock the version of the game on real hardware on MiSTer FPGA, it's just to say that this is a night and day difference, and in my time playing this has been rock solid stable. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. And you can see in all of Link's jumps there across the environment, the fluidity and smoothness in the animation just works so well when it's been recompiled. Everything from cutscenes to in-game gameplay just feels and looks so much better. And obviously now that these games can be recompiled, I'm sure in the next year or so you're going to see a lot of your favorite Nintendo 64 games recompiled to PC so that you can enjoy them in a different way. And this also comes with Steam Deck support. You have different features like gyro aiming, so many quality of life improvements that this is going to be the best way to play Majora's Mask moving forward, in my opinion. And again, Mr-Wiseguy absolutely nailed this project. Nobody saw it coming, and that was probably smart. Get it finished, get it out, and be done with it. And as we navigate around some more of the environments here, again, you can just see how good this looks. And also, if you haven't noticed already, all of the heads-up display has been moved to the left and right side of the screen to accommodate for that 16:9 widescreen aspect ratio. That makes so much more of a difference than trying to do some hacked widescreen on Nintendo 64, where maybe you could get some more visuals to the left and right, but you're going to have the heads-up display still laid up for 4:3. All of the character models, the resolution has been bumped. All of the textures look cleaner. It is just amazing to see how much better Majora's Mask can look in this new recompiled version. You'll see here as we actually get into the town and get another cutscene, this just looks absolutely spectacular. It looks like Majora's Mask, except a new, better version of it, and this I think fundamentally looks better, plays better, and just feels better than the 3DS remake as well. This is the new gold standard as far as I'm concerned. You'll see as we run around the village a little bit more just how good this game looks in motion. I am super impressed with this recompilation project. There's been a lot of Nintendo 64 love going around in the last week between the MiSTer FPGA core, this recompiled version. Nintendo 64 seems to be having a new renaissance, just like Sega Saturn has been in 2023 and 2024. Only the PlayStation 1 seems to be a little bit lagging behind in fan love, but I'm sure we'll get there too. But leave me a comment down below initially and just tell me what you think of this new version and its appearance. I think this looks gorgeous. I love the frame rate. I love the 16:9 support. It just feels like a more immersive version of the world of Majora's Mask. But of course, because it's not really changing any of the art, it's not modifying anything, just recompiling it, it also feels like a very familiar version versus somebody coming in and redoing all of the artwork and all of the models for this new, more powerful hardware. But the good thing is on the recompiled side is the exact same audio from the original game, so go ahead and listen, and I'll be right back. sounds great and looks great, and the one thing that I can't show you in a video but I can explain is the latency or complete lack thereof. A lot of the recompilation project's efforts went to making sure you got a latency-free experience. So I'm sure there is some mathematical latency in the controls, but it's going to be under a frame and you're never going to feel it whatsoever. With the increased frame rate and the work on making sure they kept lag down in the controls to a minimum, this is one of the most responsive ways to play this game. Link controls so well, and when you actually get a controller in your hands, it's going to be spectacular. And I'm playing this with an Xbox Series X controller on my PC, and for the most part everything mapped over perfectly fine. Whatever controller you plug in seems to auto map, or you can go keyboard as well if you'd like. I haven't tested this on a USB Nintendo 64 controller yet, but I'm assuming that's going to work as well. Now the only thing that you might notice every once in a while is some of the objects to the left and right hand side of the screen in the 16:9 area may appear not moving until the cutscene actually implements them, because the developers at Nintendo back in the day just planned for the 4:3 aspect ratio. So on a rare occasion, if you see something not moving, that's just because the logic isn't there yet to make it move. That would be within the original game files, which you are going to use for this. And you get an awesome comprehensive menu as well, giving you so many different options. Vibration is there, and again, if you want, you can do gyro aiming. And as we kind of pop back a little bit earlier into the game, it doesn't matter what environment you're in. This game looks amazing in motion no matter what you were doing. You can see here all of the visual effects are still intact from the Nintendo 64 version. They just look so much better, so much cleaner, and running at such a higher frame rate that it feels almost like an entirely new game. If Nintendo came along and actually remastered Majora's Mask for the Switch, or maybe the Switch 2 sometime in the day, this is what you would expect to see. And this is just the first shot across the bow as far as recompilation is concerned. There's a ton of new features that are planned in future versions, including dual analog support and ray tracing and model replacement if you want that kind of thing. But honestly, just getting the original Majora's Mask running in a recompiled version is probably all I would ever need, and this makes me want to replay the game again. And I just recently replayed it on MiSTer FPGA when the core by Robert FPGAZumSpass was done. So we've just been talking a lot about Nintendo 64 on the channel lately, and that is because so many amazing things are happening on that front. But even this cutscene here, it just looks so incredible. This just feels like a completely new version of the game, even though it's in fact not. It is just static recompiling the original game to a new target. So the fact that this is just the original ROM file doing something different is so insanely impressive. I can't stress enough just how revolutionary this mod is for the future of Nintendo 64. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of the best Nintendo 64 games recompiled in this manner, but of course this is just the early days. We're kind of coming in on this on week 1, and so many people message this to me because I am working on reverse engineering Conker's Bad Fur Day to run on the Nintendo 64 core without crashing. It seems like it's been a very busy Nintendo week on the channel, and that's because it has. But I love talking about these things. These fan projects that basically take something from back in the day, modernize them, and provide them to a new audience, as well as an audience nostalgic for the originals, is just so incredible. And again, as we walk around the town square here, the look and feel of this game has never been better, and that's so much fun. Just watch the camera as it swings left and right. Watch Link as he runs through and opens doors and interacts with different people in the environment. This just feels like if the Nintendo 64 was Dreamcast era hardware, this is what you would get. And again, it's just so fun to take a look at projects like this. I love when fans go out of their way to do something that technically isn't necessary. Of course, we have the original Majora's Mask, we have the 3DS version. There's not a lack of ways to play this game, but having a new one that looks and plays and feels so incredibly better than anything we had before is just revolutionary, and that is why I'm so excited to see what this recompilation project does moving forward. But if you want to play this game, the system specs are relatively light. So long as you got a PC or a Steam Deck or something like that hiding in your house, you're going to be totally fine. But again, leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think of the project and the visuals. I'm going to be very curious to hear people's opinions. But run, don't walk, over to GitHub, grab the files for this, and start playing Majora's Mask in 16:9 with a new refresh and new, better visuals, and you're going to have a ton of fun. Short of that, we are done, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.